Hi Renil. With all the news in the air about IT layoffs, is this really happening in the industry today?
So practically what is happening right now is change. For last 20 years that I have been in the industry, the only thing that is been constant is change. If you look at Western world, let's not call it layoff, but reorganizing ourselves as a company is very important if you have to play in the growth factor. India as a country has seen tremendous growth in last 20 years in service industry, and all of a sudden with the new technologies that are coming in and the old technologies that are phasing out, we need to be much faster in the learning phase, and every employee as well as companies have to retransform themselves. So rather than calling it layoffs, let's call it retransforming ourselves and the change. So change is very, very important, and this is part and parcel of the way how we can transform ourselves.
Many companies are claiming that these are not just layoffs, but they are performance let goes. What's your take on this?
See, every year as a company, there is a review cycle, and bottom 3 to 5% is something that every company would go through a procedure to ask them to move on. Either the company asks them to move on, or after the review cycle, the employee himself feels that he is not fitting the bill, so he moves on. So what is happening in the current scenario is, it is a mix of employee review process plus the change that is needed for the industry.
So is Terralogic changing?
We are changing. We have been changing continuously in the last 9 years, and every year when we go through our review process, the bottom 3 to 5% automatically flushes out. As I said, we are no different than any other company. We are following the same path.
And there are talks about IT unions. What's your take on this? Is this going to help employees and employers?
If there is right discipline between companies and employees, I don't believe in unions. I have worked most of my life in California, and for IT employees there is no union. Unions are for class 4 laborers and the people who work literally who do the labor force, let's put it that way, right? Even though we call ourselves as the fancy labor force, the IT labor force, that creates more complications into the process rather than solving problems. If employees understand their job of retransforming themselves, and they understand that change is the only thing that is going to be constant in their lives, we don't need any unions to come and save us. We can save ourselves by working hard and be part of the change.
Does India as a country need to start thinking about building products rather than only banking on services? Is that a change that is required in today's world?
It is definitely. If you look at India 20 years back and now, there are many product companies. So we have built probably more than 200 startups or 300 startups that came in last decade. This is a maturing phase, right? As we have not seen great IT products in the first decade, which is 2000 to 2010, and now all of a sudden there are many startups that popped in from 2010 to 20. You will see a maturity phase. So what we are going through right now is again the change, the mindset change. Products and services coexist. If you look at all the Western world, service is not something that only India does. There are tons of services companies in the Western world. What happens is, what we need as a country is two things. One is product mindset in services industry, as well as India as a country needs to develop more products for its own self interest, not just for selling for international markets. For this, we need support of governments to buy our products that are made in India or make in India. 2, we need support of other entrepreneurs who try out the new products that are out in the market. So what we need in a nutshell is, every major company that is in India, or so-called corporates, should venture out and take the risk of buying the products that are made in India.
What's your advice to youngsters and employees to embrace this change?
Don't get carried away with the news that is going on around, and focus on what needs to be done for your own career growth. Put a short-term goal, which is for the next year or 2, and a long-term goal for 5 years, and what is needed in terms of the change. You need to start working on your skill set.
Thank you, Renil, for your time.
Thank you.